What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Outward Lyric, and today we're back for another video. This time I'm finally doing something different for the channel. Y'all already know what's going on. If you had seen my latest video when I was playing Marvel Rivals, and at the end of it, you know, I had talked about how I would be making a review for the Call of Duty Black Ops 7 Beta, and that's exactly what I'm fulfilling on. As I'm recording this video right now, however, it's October 8th. I think the beta just ended today. I'm not too sure if it's still playable, but this video probably won't be able to be uploaded until like the 9th or the 10th, so that way I can, you know, gather everything together and whatnot. But I'm just gonna, you know, get straight to the point, keep it simple, all that other stuff, you know, so that way I'm not wasting anybody's time, and whether, you know, I think it's worth the $70 that they're asking, whether you should just play it in Game Pass or stuff like that, you know. I also want to throw out a tiny little disclaimer for, you know, this beta or whatever. I wouldn't necessarily say the beta in general, but like me personally, when it comes to playing Call of Duty, I'm a super casual Call of Duty player, so I'm not going to be able to tell you like the super, you know, deep intricacies of this game and whatnot. So you'd probably be better off going, you know, looking at somebody else's review if that's what you're looking for. I can only speak from a casual perspective, so you know, do with that information what you will. And with that being out of the way, I'm finally gonna get into, you know, my brutally honest thoughts of this beta. So starting off with the multiplayer, which is the gameplay that you're going to be seeing, you know, just me going around, you know, smacking people up and all that other good stuff. The gameplay was fine, you know, it was just, you know, your average Call of Duty game, you know what I mean? It didn't really feel too different from Black Ops 6, which was kind of about, which, you know, I didn't really like it. I mean, I know I can't expect them to like completely overhaul everything, you know, for a new game and such, but I definitely wish there was something that like really stood out that you know, made the game different and whatnot. Depending on how you enjoyed Black Ops 6, you know, you could really, you know, enjoy this game. I did like the, you know, being able to jump off the walls and stuff. That was pretty cool. Obviously they kept the Omni movement too, which the Omni movement still feels, you know, smooth and clean, able to, you know, get some cool trick shots or like trick kills off of doing that and whatnot. I'll also, you know, go over some positive aspects. These are more like tiny positive aspects, but you know, there are ones that I did still enjoy. I like how the UI looks and how like the little, like, you know, HUD looks, and the way the life bar looks and whatnot. I know they're like tiny details that probably people won't care about, but I mean, for me, it does look nice. I like the one thing I will say for the Call of Duty games is that whenever it came to, like, you know, the new entries and whatnot, I did appreciate how the HUDs and the UIs looked different than the last, which again, I know they're only tiny details, but I mean, I feel like they're the details that kind of, like, you know, go a long way, you know. It's one of the first things you see, and that can, you know, like really attract you to the game if you're, you know, you're looking forward to digging a bunch of hours into the multiplayer or whatever, you know, modes the game ends up having to offer. But again, like I said, it is a bit disappointing that the game doesn't differentiate itself too much from Black Ops 6, and I mean, depending on, you know, what you're looking for, that could either be a good thing or a bad thing, because this is all, you know, subjective and opinion based. I'm just one guy giving my, you know, thoughts on the internet on whether I think you should, you know, spend your hard-earned money on it. But aside from the multiplayer, now I'm gonna go ahead and get into what I think of the zombies, or what I thought of the zombies. Honestly, it was kind of disappointing. Okay, let me rephrase that. The zombies mode itself was not disappointing. What was disappointing was that it didn't have access to the whole thing, because there's two modes for it. I forgot exactly what the two modes were called, but one of them was like you were running around on a smaller map, and then the other one, I'm assuming, is going to be more akin to how Black Ops 6 had their zombies, where, you know, it's a super wide open map and stuff. You know, you run around, open gates and stuff with money and etc., right? So the one that was available in the beta was just the smaller map version, where you're basically on a farm and you gotta, basically do the same thing, right? Just, run around, kill the zombies and survive for as long as you can. I didn't capture any zombies gameplay just because I didn't want to make the video super long for like no reason, right? So literally I just captured one multiplayer match, and then I'll just talk and explain about the zombies mode. So as for the zombies mode that I was able to experience, because the other one isn't going to be available until the game fully launches sometime later this month in October, honestly it really wasn't that bad. For some reason, I don't know if it was just me, let me know down in the comment section to anybody else who also tried the Black Ops 7 beta and got a chance to play the zombies or whatever, the zombies mode that they had. It felt like it was almost too easy, sort of, but I feel like I can't even say that it was too easy, because I remember I had the a gobble gum that literally gave me access to all the perks or whatever, right? So whenever I was playing the zombie mode with my boys, because I normally don't play zombies by myself, it's just zombies I definitely had to play with friends or whatnot, because I can't play zombies by myself unless it was like Black Ops 2 zombies, or even the Dead Ops arcade, because I'll admit the Dead Ops arcade is actually like really freaking fun. I enjoyed that whenever they had that. I can't fully remember if they had the Dead Ops arcade mode in Black Ops 1, but I do remember them having it in Black Ops 2, and I do also remember them having it in Cold War, which Cold War Zombies was actually really fun. I actually also enjoyed Cold War. But you guys aren't here to listen to me talk about Cold War, you're here to listen to me talk about the Black Ops 7 zombies. So overall, aside from having all those perks or whatever, even though it felt like it was easy, at the same time I still definitely felt the challenge, because whenever those zombies group up and then just all attack you at once, you're super overwhelmed, and they can still knock you down even if you have like a full set of armor and all that. One thing that does seem stranger to me though in this zombies, I'm not too sure if anybody else noticed this as well. Let me know in the comment section if y'all did notice this. It felt like whenever you were picking up the salvage parts, so you could like upgrade your weapons and turn them into like epic or legendary, it felt like you maybe get those pieces at like a slower rate, because I remember whenever I would go down to the basement on the map to go look and see what upgrades I can actually put on my weapons, such as like freezing the zombies or like putting them on fire. The black hole effect was actually pretty cool. I know they had a firecracker one too for the zombies, like a firecracker blast effect, I guess. Probably like whenever you shoot them, they start exploding into fireworks. I didn't use that upgrade. I only used the black hole one, so I can't really speak on that one too much. But those were always available, because those were only like for 500 salvage pieces, right? But then when I was looking at the pieces to upgrade my weapons into epic and legendary, right, aside from just pack-a-punching them, because even though you can pack-a-punch your weapons, I think if I know this correctly, feel free to correct me in the comments sections, the pack-a-punch only does so much to actually harm the zombies. You also gotta like upgrade them to epic and legendary. I was somehow like always out of reach to actually upgrade my weapons and such, which was kind of annoying. So that's why I came across the point of how I felt like maybe you get those salvage parts a little bit slower, but I'm not too entirely sure. Although now that I'm starting to remember it, I do think that in Black Ops 6 it works the same way. Like, you get the pieces a little faster, but I do think they're still at the same price. So if you guys have that information, just let me know in the comment section as well, because I can't fully remember, but I do remember it a little bit. Alright, and now my final verdict on whether I think you should spend $70, play it through Game Pass, or just skip overall. If you're already a Game Pass subscriber, then I definitely recommend you check it out that way. I do not recommend paying the $70, because even though me, a casual gamer, I can get satisfaction out of playing Call of Duty, because I'm not a super hardcore like that. Anybody else who is a hardcore COD fan, I feel like they will feel like they've wasted their $70 on something that's doesn't give much improvements from Black Ops 6, which is unfortunate, but I just gotta be truthful, man. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy this content, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, so that way you don't miss a single upload every time I upload a new video. This video will be out by either the 9th or the 10th, so you know, just I don't know why I'm doing that closer towards the end. But again, I hope you guys, you know, enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed my insight. I'm looking forward to doing more videos like this. And thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all take it easy. Y'all stay safe out there. Y'all have a good one. Peace.